Welcome to Storyteller for Ascendance of a Bookworm Chapter 8, where Myne astonishes Otto with her math skills while crafting Turi's special hair ornament. Let's dive in. In this town, closed off by snow and winter, it is customary to pick paru on the few clear days. Myne girl announces she is going paru picking with Turi today. Effa expresses concern about Myne, saying, "The only problem is what to do with Myne. You have work, Gunther, so." Gunther sighs. Gunther, deep in thought, acknowledges, "I know." Myne, preparing food, reacts with a surprised, "Eh?" When an unknown speaker asks, "Do you want to wait with me at the gate, Myne?" Myne girl finds the idea nice and a good one, her eyes wide with interest. Effa instructs Myne, "We will pick you up on the way back, so wait patiently until noon, Myne." Myne reacts with a surprise. A hand clenches downward with impact. Turi, ready to depart, tells Myne, "Let us go, Turi." Myne, smiling, waves goodbye, saying, "We will come pick you up later." Myne, in chibi form, pouts dejectedly after being left alone, as a door slams shut. Myne reflects, "Well, this might be a nice change of pace. The only thing I can do at home is play with the slate or make baskets anyway." Myne, holding a bowl, reacts with a surprised, "Ah." Myne asks her father, Gunther, if Otto is there today. An unknown voice confirms Otto is supposed to be there. Myne exclaims, "Yay." Then plans, "Then I will have to bring the slate." Myne, with head bowed, thanks an unknown character for the food. Myne, humming, puts on an outer garment, ready to leave. Myne, holding a basket, announces eagerly, "I am ready, Dad, let us go." An unknown male with a sweat drop reacts to an unseen female asking, "Myne, do you like Otto that?" Myne, with eyes closed in pure happiness, exclaims, "Yup, I love him." An unknown male recoils in shock or pain from an unseen force. An unknown male, holding a slate, reflects, "I mean, he is my teacher who gave me the slate and taught me letters. There is no way I would not like him, right?" Narration states, "Decided this on." Myne, carried by Gunther through deep snow, expresses awe. "Whoa, I am so high up, Dad." Wow. A book is shown inside a basket, as Myne's dialogue states, "I will have him teach me new letters today." Gunther carries Myne on his shoulders through the snow, telling her to hang on tight. Myne replies, "Okay." Gunther carries a sleeping Myne through the snow, her face serene. A snow-covered urban environment is shown, with narration stating, "It completely feels like a snow country." Gunther carries Myne through the snow, encountering another person. Myne, now awake, observes the unknown. Myne, being carried, softly utters, "Myne." Myne, on Gunther's shoulders, states firmly, "Otto is already married, okay." Myne, with a shocked expression, reacts to an unseen event or statement. Myne, on Gunther's shoulders, states firmly, "Otto is already married, okay." Myne, on Gunther's shoulders, asserts, "Otto is already married, okay." Myne struggles against an unseen person, demanding, "What are you trying to stop your 5-year-old daughter from?" Gunther carries Myne while conversing. Myne hesitantly asks, what about it?" An adult replies, "He is a man with nothing but his wife on his mind." Gunther walks, carrying Myne on his shoulders, as Myne internally complains, "So annoying." A snowman silently observes. An unknown character asks Gunther, "So you mean Otto is an earnest and wonderful man who cares dearly for his own wife, right?" Gunther carries Myne, both with an unknown male covers his mouth, saying, "No," in distress. Myne walks through deep snow, internally complaining, "So annoying." A snowman silently observes her. Myne stands at the entrance of a large, fortified building, flanked by 2 guards. An unknown male greets Gunther and Myne with a polite, "Good morning." An unknown male reacts with a thoughtful, to an unheard question. Myne, carried by Gunther, questions internally, "Do they not have a custom of bowing here?" Myne, being carried, reflects internally, "Fail, fail." As she looks forward with determination, Myne, on Gunther's shoulders, reaches for a door ready to enter. A hand firmly operates a wooden latch on a door. Gunther continues to carry Myne on his shoulders, both looking forward. Gunther enters a room with Myne on his shoulders, announcing, "I am coming in." An unknown character, surprised, asks, "Leader and Myne, what is going on?" As Gunther explains Myne's presence, Gunther crouches with Myne on his back, explaining to an unknown character, "She is going to be staying here until Ifa finishes picking paru fruit and comes to pick." Gunther, with a concerned expression, tells Otto, "Otto, you watch after." Gunther instructs Myne, "Wait in front of the fireplace. Be careful not to catch a cold." Myne protests, "But I have the financial report and budget." Otto reacts with Myne, with a surprised and confused expression, says, "Eh?" As an unknown character reacts with surprise. Myne tells Otto she was happy to get the slate, and even happier to see him again today. Myne, with a distressed expression, apologizes to Otto, "I am sorry, Otto." Otto, with a warm, gentle smile, says, "I am glad to hear that," in response to Myne's earlier statement. Myne's voice is heard saying, I am happy to see you too, Myne. Otto questions Myne. That is not something to apologize for, is it? Myne, confused. Otto reacts with extreme embarrassment, covering his face, as Myne innocently explains. Actually, when I complimented you, Dad starting sulk. Myne's hand reaches into a woven basket. Myne, holding a slate, proposes to Otto. If you teach me some letters, I'll practice without bothering your work. Otto, with a gentle smile, accepts Myne's request, saying, I guess it is okay if it is you, Myne. An unknown character eagerly receives a book or slate from Otto, saying, All right, let me see this. Thanks, Otto. Myne and Otto are seated at a table, engaged in a quiet activity, as soft tapping sounds are. Myne writes on a slate with chalk, then sighs, Phew. As another hand also writes, Myne confidently states, I think I have it down. After working on a slate, Myne watches with wide eyes as coins are counted, a sudden realization dawning on her. Otto gently rubs Myne's shoulder as she sits at a desk, her eyes closed in relaxation. An unknown character writes on financial reports and budget documents, explaining, I am writing a financial report and budget. We have to draw up and submit a one-year budget during winter, but a lot of the soldiers are not very good with numbers. Myne asks Otto, What is that, Otto? As he works on financial documents. Myne, with a closed-eye smile, tells Otto, Sounds like you get a lot of bothersome work pushed on you. Otto, also smiling, replies, And since I am the best with money matters, all this. The panel shows a close-up of financial documents, with handwritten figures and text. Myne observes a document asking, Is this a petition for equipment? She then softly says, Ah. Myne questions Otto, Otto, isn't this wrong? Otto reacts with a surprised, A. An unknown hand points at numbers on a ledger asking, Isn't this 75 and 30? If this is the price and this is the number of items, I think it should be 2,000. Myne points at a document, realizing, Ah, this is wrong too. Otto, with wide, astonished eyes, questions Myne. I thought you could not read. How can you do calculations? Myne, being carried, reflects. Mom taught me number before. As she looks at a bustling outdoor market, Otto reacts with wide-eyed surprise, shocked by Myne's unexpected skill. Myne contemplates, quill in hand, looking at a document with unreadable letters, thinking, So I can calculate, but I have no idea what these. Myne, with a confused expression, asks, while Otto contemplates deeply, hand to chin. Otto, with a nervous expression, tells Myne, Myne, I am going to put my pride aside and ask you this. Otto, with a hopeful expression, asks Myne, Do you think you can help me with this? Myne, with hands clasped, contemplates Otto's direct request for help, appearing pensive and empathetic. Myne contemplates. Actually, does that mean he is in such a bad situation that he would even ask a kid like me? Myne, with hands resting on documents, questions, Is it okay for me take on something like this? Isn't it a bad idea for an outsider and a kid at that to help with this? Myne, with hands resting on documents, questions, Is it okay for me take on something like this? Isn't it a bad idea for an outsider and a kid at that to help with this? An unknown character reacts with a surprised, to Myne's demands. Otto states, I want to learn letters, so I want you to be my teacher, Otto. Myne calmly accepts, I do not really mind. 2 slate pencils are shown in midair as an unknown speaker questions, But slate pencils? Slate pencils are not that expensive, are they? Myne reflects, It is probably because I play all day on the slate. Even if she buys them, I use them up right away. Myne, looking dejected, tells an unknown male, Mom bought it for me before, but even if I ask for it now, she will not buy them for me anymore. Myne, with wide, surprised eyes, asks, Why not? Myne, exasperated, tells an unknown male, Anyway. The unknown male laughs heartily. Myne and an unknown male shake hands as the male says, I would say that is pretty cheap, though. Myne confidently declares, It is a deal. An unknown speaker declares, It is a deal. After a hand, Myne, behind a large basket, emphatically states, I am not such a cheap girl that I would work for free. Myne and an unknown character clasp hands in a gentle, comforting gesture. Otto asks Myne to check calculations, admitting he does not know where the mistakes are. Myne asks what he wants her to do, ready. Myne, holding a paper, thoughtfully asks Otto, You need more soldiers that can do calculations, don't you? The panel shows numerous calculations and documents, with narration stating, It must be tough correcting all these calculations by yourself. So he was checking documents prepared by someone else. Otto, looking weary, tells Myne, Well, we do, but... Myne, thoughtful, reflects, There is also the fact that I was picked up because I can do this. Myne reflects inwardly, looking at her notebook, thinking, I want to ask him, but I will save it for next time. Myne, looking at her notebook, thinks, I wonder if there is some reason for Otto becoming a soldier. Otto offers Myne a calculator, but she declines, stating she does not know how to use it. Myne writes a multiplication problem on a blackboard, thinking, besides, it would be faster to write it out rather than using a calculator I am unfamiliar with. Otto, with a questioning expression, observes Myne, who is focused on writing. An unknown character exclaims, so much easier, I am so moved. Otto shouts, Myne, you are a lifesaver. Myne, with a gentle smile, says, I am glad I could be a... Otto, with an ecstatic expression, exclaims, so much easier, I am so moved. He shouts, Myne, you are a lifesaver. Myne, with a gentle smile, says, I am glad I... Otto, holding a document, tells Myne she might be suited to be a merchant because she is so good with calculations. Otto, holding a document, offers Myne, I can introduce you to a trade guild if you want to become a merchant. Myne smiles, contemplating Otto's offer, thinking, I will think about it. If I want to make a lot of books and start a bookstore, it might not be a bad idea to be introduced to a trade guild. Otto proposes to Myne, if you want to learn letters, should I drill them into you? If I do, you will be able to help me prepare documents next year, too. Myne, a hand holds a quill, poised to write on parchment next to an inkwell, as an unknown speaker thinks. Well, helping prepare documents means I will be able to touch parchment, right? It means I can write letters with ink, right? Myne, with hands pressed to her cheeks, reacts ecstatically to the offer of learning letters and writing with ink, surprising Otto. An unknown soldier enthusiastically tells a family, of course that is something to be really happy about. Snow covers the rooftops of a quiet village under a dark sky. Myne, with wide eyes, reacts with wonder to a newly finished, ornate dress, while another child exclaims, wow. An adult woman asks, this is her dress for the baptism ceremony. An unknown voice says, there it is done. An unknown speaker declares, there it is done. An unknown character holds or adjusts a piece of fabric. An unknown character inspects a newly finished garment, thinking, well, it is cute, but... While she was at it, it would have been nice if she added frills or decoration. Eva enthusiastically presents a dress, asking an unknown listener, yeah, it is cute, right? An unknown character wears a new garment, contemplating. I wonder if there is some rule that it cannot be too flashy because you have to wear it to the shrine. An unknown character asks Turi, Turi, how are you going to wear your hair? Turi listens. An unknown character, wearing a new garment, smiles joyfully while contemplating. I wonder if there is some rule that it cannot be too flashy because you have to wear it to the shrine. An unknown character asks, is there a rule to how you wear it for the baptism ceremony? Turi replies, well, no, but I was going to leave. An unknown character asks, then are you going to wear some sort of hair ornament? Turi listens. Myne, with clenched fists and wide eyes, declares, I'll do it. I'll make you look cute for sure. An unknown girl contemplates, let us see. Well, it will be summer, so maybe I will pick a flower or something. Myne firmly interjects, that will not do, you are wearing cute clothes. Myne, holding a wrapped object, reacts with a hesitant, but Myne, with a determined expression, plans, if there are not any hair ornaments, I can just make one. I will use the tatting I learned in arts and craft. Myne, with a panicked expression, realizes, what do I do? Mom's crochet needle is for wool, so it is too thick. Myne, with wide eyes and clenched fists, exclaims, in distress. A crochet needle is prominently displayed as Myne's exasperated voice declares, there is no crochet needle for knitting. A character drinks from a mug as narration states, there is only one option. Myne, with a concerned expression, contemplates, it has to be thinner. A character drinks from a wooden mug, making a gulping sound. An unknown speaker asks a dad character, you are pretty good with your hands, right, Dad? You are the one that made Turi's doll, right? Dad replies, Myne runs forward, calling out urgently, Dad. Myne stands hesitantly before her father and another adult, stammering, you. As the father asks what, Myne firmly tells Gunther, no, I want a crochet needle. Gunther, surprised, asks, Tilda, what do you want a doll to? Gunther, confused, asks, crochet needle. That thing Ifa uses for knitting. Gunther proposes, then why do you not just borrow that one? Myne, startled, reacts with sweat drops and a sound of exasperation. Myne, with clenched fists and wide eyes, shouts, no, I want a crochet needle that is a lot thinner than that. I'm going to use IT to knit thread, not wool. Myne, with clasped hands and pleading eyes, asks her father, Dad, I think a thin crochet needle is per hard to make, but do you think you... Gunther, with wide, startled eyes, reacts to Myne's challenging request. Gunther's hands are shown meticulously working on a metal item, likely sharpening or polishing a sword. Gunther, with eyes closed in a gentle smile, agrees to try making the needle, saying, wooden is fine, right? I will give it a try. Myne, overjoyed, exclaims, "You are the best, Dad." Gunther presents the finished thin needle to Myne, asking, "Like this?" Myne, with a small smile, touches her lips while Turi observes. Gunther is relieved, saying, "I am glad." Myne thinks, "Dad looks like he is sort of in a better mood." Gunther agrees, "Yup, me too." Myne asks Effa for thread of a specific color, then questions, "What are you going to do?" Effa responds, "Mom." Myne reflects, "It was my fault that he was in a bad mood, but it is okay since he is feeling better, right?" Crafting materials are displayed on a wooden table as an unknown speaker thinks, "I am thinking of making a hair ornament for Turi. I am going to make a lace braid." Effa holds a small item, questioning, "Isn't she only using that hair ornament for the baptism ceremony? It is a waste to use thread just for..." Myne passionately argues, "If she can be even cuter, then why not make her? Cuteness is justice." She then dismisses, "Turi is already cute without making her any cuter. She will be fine." Effa calmly dismisses Myne's passionate argument, saying, "I do not know what you are talking about, but don't be selfish." Myne reacts with a distress. Myne shouts emphatically, "I am fine with your leftover thread. I want to use the crochet needle Dad made for..." Myne, Gunther, and an unknown character are gathered around a table, engaged in discussion. Gunther suggests, "It is rare for Myne to show interest in needlework. Why not give her some leftover thread?" Effa contemplates while Myne peeks from under the table. Hands actively use a crochet hook and thread, as a thought bubble says. Effa, with a thoughtful expression, agrees, "You are right," to an unseen statement. An unknown character expresses gratitude and love to their parents, saying, "Thanks, Mom, I love you, Dad." Myne diligently engages in tatting, as narration explains. "From all the arts and crafts I tried during Urano's time, it was the tatting that resulted in a relatively useful..." Myne's hands are shown holding thread and a ring, with a crochet hook poised, as narration states. "As long as I have the tools, I am confident in making a hair ornament with lace tatting." Myne's hand meticulously performs a tatting stitch, looping thread around a needle to form a knot. Myne's hand precisely pulls thread through a loop with a crochet hook, forming a stitch. Myne, intensely focused, works on tatting, while an unknown character observes her work with curiosity. Myne's hand meticulously performs a tatting stitch, pulling the needle through a loop to tighten the knot. Myne, intensely focused, works on tatting, while an unknown woman and child observe her work intently. Myne's hand holds a small, intricate piece of tatting lace, with the crochet hook still engaged. Myne holds up a small, crocheted flower, inspecting it and asking, "Isn't it a bit too small?" Myne holds up a small, crocheted flower, inspecting it. Myne voices her assessment of the crocheted flower's size, asking, "Isn't it a bit too small?" Myne explains her crafting plan. "I am going to put together small flowers to make it into an ornament." An unknown girl asks, "It is not too difficult." Myne proposes to her mother, "Since you are used to knitting wool, I think you can make it better than me, Mom. Want to try?" Eva silently observes Myne's hand, and the crafting tool material she is holding, appearing thoughtful. Myne meticulously tats with a needle and thread, creating lace. Myne's skilled hands demonstrate a specific knitting or tatting technique with yarn and a small, delicate, flower-like ornament, as an unknown speaker says. "So you know how to knit a certain way if you..." Myne observes a small, intricately crocheted flower being held by another character, as an unknown speaker comments, "Wow, that is a skilled seamstress." Myne admires Effa's knitting, saying, "You are amazing, Mom." Effa replies, "You are more amazing for knowing this way of knitting." Knitting is in progress with yarn and needles visible, as an unknown speaker reflects, "I have knit mufflers and sweaters before, but I have never thought to make an..." An adult asks two children, "So how do you put this in your hair?" while holding a small object. Myne explains the process of creating crocheted flowers. You make a circle with loose threads and sew each one together. If you did that, it would look like a bouquet, right? Then you wrap that around a pin." Myne reacts with intense shock, exclaiming, "Wait, a pin!" as hairpins fall from above her head. Myne urgently calls out, Dad." As her father, Gunther, holding a bag, observes her with slight concern, stating, "There is no way they have something that could..." Myne, gesturing, explains, "I need a pin that is kind of short with one side tapered off and shaved flat with a small hole on the other side. Can you make one?" Gunther listens. Gunther explains, "Well, that is simpler than a crochet needle." Myne, delighted, exclaims, "Really?" Myne leans comfortably against Gunther, making a soft, amused sound. Gunther, with a confident smile, tells an unknown character, "Looks like I won." Myne enthusiastically hugs Gunther, exclaiming, "You are amazing, Dad. This is the most I have ever respected you." Gunther sneezes loudly, while Myne looks on with a questioning expression. Gunther recovers from a sneeze, his back to the viewer. Turi, adorned with a new hair ornament, receives compliments from her family, including Gunther and Effa, who express how cute and good it looks. A hand forcefully grips and pulls the hair of another person downwards. Myne, with a surprised expression, asks, "Really?" Then thoughtfully says, "I see." Myne's hands delicately arrange small, crocheted flowers into a hair ornament. Myne, with eyes closed in pure joy, expresses, "Thanks everyone, I am so happy." Myne expresses gratitude, "Thanks everyone." Myne expresses, "I am so happy." Narration states, "Some days later, and when I realized the crochet needle Dad made for me was in Mom's knitting box, it looks like Mom got hooked on lace knitting." Myne quietly accepts the situation with the crochet needle, saying, "Well, I guess it is fine." And that's a wrap for Ascendance of a Bookworm Chapter 8. What did you think about Myne's surprise calculations and crafty solution for Turi? Share your thoughts below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Storyteller for more manga narrations. We'll see you